There is a steel drum in a garage in rural Wisconsin. No wires humming into it. No gas line. No monthly bill attached to it. In the middle of January, a hand pressed against the side of that drum at 9 o'clock at night felt temperatures above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The fire that charged it had been out since noon, 9 hours earlier. The house behind it stayed 72 degrees all night long. The man who built it spent $280 once. He has not written a check for heat since. Before this video is over, you will understand exactly why that works, who has known about it for 5,000 years, and why the building code in every American state has no category for it. Not because it failed a test, because the test was never allowed to exist. 5,000 years ago in Korea, builders developed a system called the Ondol. The word means warm stone. They cut channels beneath the floor and ran heat from an external fire through those channels into thick stone slabs. The stone absorbed the heat slowly and released it for 12 to 24 hours after the fire went out. You light the fire at dinner. You let it die by 8 at night. Your family sleeps warm until morning. No fuel burning overnight. No waste. 90% of homes in South Korea today still use radiant floor heating descended directly from the Ondol. This is not ancient history. It is a living technology in one of the most advanced economies on the planet. China had their own version, the Kang. It was an elevated stone platform connected to the cooking fire. As recently as 2004, 67 million Kangs served 175 million people across 14 provinces in northern China. Researchers documented heating load reductions of between 50 and 80%. Half to 3/4 of the heating energy was gone because of stone, and because of gravity, and because of patience. Medieval engineers in northern Germany, Poland, Finland, Denmark, and Sweden looked at the Roman hypocaust and asked a simple question. What if we added mass? What if instead of letting the heat pass through, we trapped it? They built chambers of granite beneath the floor. You lit the fire. The granite absorbed the heat until it glowed. You put out the fire. You sealed the chimney. Then you opened vents in the floor. The heat stored in those stones radiated upward for days. One load of firewood. Days of warmth. In 1822, researchers traveled to Malbork Castle in Poland to test a thermal storage hypocaust that had been operating for 400 years. They fed it 7/10 of a cubic meter of spruce wood, burned it for 3.5 hours, put the fire out, and waited 20 minutes. A hall of 850 square meters, nearly the size of a modern American mansion, with ceilings 3 stories high, rose from 43 degrees Fahrenheit to 72 degrees Fahrenheit from a fire that was already out. 4 centuries old. Still working. Medieval Europe had at least 500 documented thermal storage systems built on this principle. The physics never failed. It simply disappeared from Western construction. In 2018, 2 engineers at the University of Tampere in Finland asked what sounded like a naive question. Can you build an energy-independent community using only solar power? Generating the electricity was not the problem. Solar panels are cheap. The problem was storing it. Lithium batteries cost $300 per kilowatt hour of storage. That is the number the entire energy industry is built around. Sand costs $4 to $10 per kilowatt hour. It does the same job, store energy, and release it later. One option costs a fortune. The other costs almost nothing. Their company is called Polar Night Energy. In July 2022, they switched on the world's first commercial sand battery in Kankaanpää, Finland. A steel silo 4 meters wide and 7 meters tall was filled with 100 tons of ordinary construction sand, heated to 500 degrees Celsius using excess wind and solar electricity. Its capacity is 8 megawatt hours. That is enough to heat approximately 100 homes. Annual efficiency is 85%. The cost of the system was roughly $200,000. A lithium battery with the same capacity would have cost $1.6 million. Time magazine named Polar Night Energy one of the best inventions of 2025. They are listed on the NASDAQ Helsinki exchange. There are 3 installations in Finland and 0 in the United States. The reason has a name: the American Gas Association. The residential heating industry in the United States generates $12 billion a year. The 8 largest manufacturers control 90% of that revenue. 60% of residential sales are emergency replacements. Your furnace dies in January, and you call whoever answers the phone. A steel drum full of sand breaks every link in that chain. No proprietary equipment, no licensed installation, no service contract, no replacement cycle. In March 2020, the American Gas Association held an internal meeting about how to slow down policies moving away from gas. In their own documents, they described the shift to electric heating as an existential threat to natural gas direct use in buildings. They did not call it competition, they called it existential. Since 2020, more than 25 states have passed laws that prohibit cities from restricting natural gas. When researchers ran the text of those laws through plagiarism detection software, the language was nearly identical across states. A state representative from Utah admitted publicly that he did not write his version himself. He became aware of it from his local gas supplier. The result is visible in the building code. The International Residential Code has no category for solid-state thermal storage. None. The code assumes heat comes from manufactured equipment with a brand name and a model number. A silo full of sand does not fit any category. It cannot be approved, not because it failed a test, but because the test does not exist. Underwriters Laboratories has no listing for any residential sand battery. Without a listing, there is no category. Without a category, there is no approval path. One homeowner documented on Green Building Advisor that his $15,000 solar thermal storage system was appraised at $0. The appraiser could not see it because it had no UL sticker. Here is what a working system looks like at household scale. A steel drum in an outbuilding with ventilation, filled with clean, dry sand, wrapped in mineral wool, insulation rated to high temperature. A heating element runs into the center, connected to 1 or 2 solar panels, or plugged into the wall and running on off-peak electricity at night when rates drop to 4 or 5 cents per kilowatt hour. A small fan and a duct. The fan pulls air across the hot sand and pushes it where you need it. The system has no moving parts except the fan. Nothing to break, nothing to service, nothing to replace. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, Colorado tested this directly. A researcher named Juan Ma heated silica sand to 1,200 degrees Celsius and held it there for 500 hours. They measured thermal conductivity, specific heat, and structural integrity across the full duration. Their finding: no significant changes in any measured parameter. The sand did not age, did not degrade, did not crack, did not change. After 500 hours at temperatures that would melt aluminum, it was the same sand. The build for a retrofit requires no permit in most jurisdictions, no contractor, and no specialist equipment. 1 cubic meter of sand heated to 200 degrees Celsius stores approximately 67 kilowatt hours of thermal energy, roughly 3 days of heating for a small, well-insulated house. A 55-gallon drum, properly charged and insulated, holds temperatures above 200 degrees Fahrenheit for over 24 hours. Materials for a working system include a heavy-gauge steel drum, $10 to $30 from a farm supply store, clean dry sand, free or nearly free from a building supply yard, a heating element rated for the application, $15 to $20, mineral wool insulation rated to high temperature, $30 to $50, a thermostat, $15, and a small fan and duct to distribute the heat, another $50. Total installed cost under $300. The sand does not wear out. The drum does not wear out. The only component with any service life is the heating element, and those run for years under normal use. The Korean Ondol has been storing heat in mass and releasing it slowly for 5,000 years. 175 million Chinese used the same principle until the grid arrived. The engineers at Malbork Castle built a system that still passed a scientific test 4 centuries after it was constructed. Polar Night Energy built a commercial version that Time magazine called one of the best inventions of the year. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory confirmed the material is essentially indestructible under operating conditions. The gas industry did not suppress a technology. They suppressed a principle. The principle that you do not need to buy fuel indefinitely. The principle that you can charge a mass once and live off the heat for days. The principle that the cheapest, most abundant material on the surface of the earth does the same job as a $300 per kilowatt hour lithium battery. The average American household spends between $900 and $1,200 a year on gas heating. Over 30 years, that is between $27,000 and $36,000 paid to an industry that knew by their own internal admission that alternatives like this existed and described them as an existential threat. Their response was not to compete. It was to make sure the building code had no checkbox, no form, no category, and no path. A $300 drum of sand with no moving parts, no maintenance, no degradation, and no monthly bill versus $36,000 over a lifetime to an industry that funded 25 state laws to make sure you never had another option. That is not a market failure. That is a decision someone made about your money. The knowledge was never lost. The Koreans kept it for 5,000 years. The Chinese heated 175 million people with it. The Finns turned it into a company on the stock exchange. The only place it disappeared was here. In the country where the gas industry had enough money to remove it from the codes, the classrooms, and the conversation. Now you have it back.